We're in Chicago for the semifinals of the World Shidokan Tournament.
From Costa Rica, Hector Monterrey. And from France, Frederic Aguilar.
Well, I think, Dave, we've got some familiar faces here. Of course, we're all familiar with Aguilar, but the Costa Rican club is very active in Shidokan competition.
They are. They've brought their fighter, Hector Monterrey, here. You're going to see a tremendous fight here. Both these fighters just, there they are right there, trading off low kicks, body punches. This is bare-knuckle karate. There are no pads. There are no gloves. These guys are here to fight.
Actually, it looks like an interesting, physically, they look about the same. Both basketball player-looking guys, unlike the earlier bouts when it was brawn against speed.
They both have the same physical body makeup. They both have the same techniques. Notice the hands, notice the legs. A lot of similar combinations being thrown here. I think the experience has got to go to Aguilar.
You know, it's interesting because I'm wondering if there's any difference between the Central American type of Shidokan and Europe. I know that in soccer, for example, the Europeans like short precision kicks and the Central Americans like long boomers. Maybe there's a difference in style in Shidokan also.
Well, let's see if there's any comparison with those styles here tonight with these bare-knuckle fighters.
So far, they look the same.
You see Aguilar is very composed throughout this whole fight.
You know, you never get a look on his face. He never looks tired, never looks happy.
Now, speaking of tired, notice the mouthpiece of Monterrey. It's already starting to come out of the mouth. Monterrey is expending himself here in this first round.
You know, I guess that comes with experience because Aguilar, as I mentioned, has been here before.
Low kicks traded off again, followed by hand combinations, another low kick. These fighters are really going at it. They are not stopping. This has been constant action throughout this first round.
You see any noticeable effect on anybody?
I haven't seen anybody take a tremendous shot.
Well, we're early.
There's a low kick.
I mean, it sounds nasty.
Oh, and there's almost a knee. I can't tell if that connected. Again, just consistently trading blows. There's the end of the round.
The action slowed in round 2, so let's pick it up in round 3.
Round 3, the kickboxing round.
Johnny, I've got the first round pretty even between these two fighters. I gave the second round to Aguilar.
Well, you know what? These are like two smooth boxer types. It's hard really to tell. But Aguilar's been here before, so that probably gives him the advantage of that short score that you were mentioning.
Well, Aguilar's a much more refined, experienced fighter. Aguilar has the experience. You see Monterrey, the stronger of the two, definitely much more aggressive, yet look at the wild punches. He's not as controlled as Aguilar is.
And, of course, Aguilar, no motion in his face, no emotion anywhere. Just keeping himself relaxed, and you save energy that way.
There again, we saw some wild punching. Both fighters exchange kicks.
Another wild right and left hand by Monterrey.
There's those knees with a great hand combination.
Aguilar seems to be continuing throughout the fight, just edging up, taking his time. Not a big advantage, but a steady advantage.
Monterrey looks a bit fatigued again here.
Well, you know, it's another thing, too. It's size and strength against speed and finesse, and Aguilar has the finesse. And I can't say this enough, that a lot of times it comes with experience.
Experience is the factor here.
And he's a winner.
Now have some blood flowing from the nose of Monterrey, who's caught with one of those punches.
These guys are like two boxers now, the way they're dancing around a little bit. A weak left-right combination by Aguilar.
There's that mouthpiece coming out of the mouth again. Again, a sign of fatigue.
Monterrey, another sign of fatigue. His punches are off mark.
That punch was right on the mark.
And you can see Monterrey's mouth is opening up, and that's the end of round 3.
Back with more Shidokan action after this.
We're back at the World Shidokan Open in Chicago's Park West Theater.
Let's take a look at how Hector Monterrey advanced to this phase of the triathlon. Here he is fending off Team USA champion and K1 competitor Lemane Kita from Philadelphia.
Well, Monterrey is exhibiting a lot of strength here as he pummels Kita with a solid volley of lefts and rights. Kita is helpless before this incessant attack, and to me, it's only a matter of time. And the referee thinks the same thing because he breaks this thing up.
Round 6. Aguilar in the blue trunks, Monterrey in the red. This is the last of the grappling rounds and the final round of the fight. I've got Aguilar ahead.
So do I, Dave, but not by that much because Monterrey is forcing the action, but his punches are off, and that's what makes me feel Aguilar's ahead. His punches are more controlled and are striking the mark.
Much more precise, as we just saw right there.
In fact, I would not be surprised if Aguilar stopped this kid.
Well, Monterrey has to be given all the credit in the world, battling back, not giving up. Tremendous fighter. These guys have thrown hard punches from the very beginning, the opening bell of this fight. They have not stopped.
You know, that's so typical of all these Shidokan participants. They take it down to the wire, and you find out that in this sport, there's not much of a dispute as who wins these things. And in fact, all the fights that I've seen so far, I've never seen anybody complain. It's usually the fighter who determines who wins.
Shidokan is the only venue that allows the fighter to determine the outcome of the fight. When you've won a Shidokan fight, you know it. And when you've lost, you know that as well. And there we see a high roundhouse kick delivered to the head of Hector Monterrey. Hector counters.
Monterrey looks tired. His mouth is gaping open, sucking up air, but he still comes out there. He doesn't retreat in a hole and wait.
He keeps bringing it. Like all these Shidokan fighters, they don't quit.
Aguilar starting to score, though. I think this may be not going too much longer.
Well, Monterrey's hung in there. He survived that flurry of punches. Looks like Aguilar's actually been hurt there from a punch.
Yeah, he looks it too, but I don't see Monterrey coming back out at him. He's kind of waiting for Aguilar.
Like we mentioned throughout this fight, that fatigue factor on Monterrey has really worn down. That's the end of the fight. We're going to be going to a judge's decision here. Shidokan fights are scored on a 10-point must system.
Judge 1.
Let's see how the judges scored this fight.
The fight even at 57 each.
The first judge scores the fight even at 57 each. That's kind of surprised, but it shows you how close this thing is. The second judge gives it to Aguilar, 58 to 56.
Judge 3 scores the fight 58-56 for Aguilar.
The third judge scores 58-56 Aguilar.
6-4 Frederic Aguilar. Our winner
And the fourth judge scores it
decision,
58-56 for Frederic Aguilar.
And your winner in the semifinals, Frederic Aguilar. We'll see who he's going to face in the finals right after this.